Dad, welcome to the show, mate.
Fantastic to be here, sunshine. It's usually, here son, I need a word. Have a
Yeah, casinos were fairly new back then, were they, in the 70s and 80s?
Well,
was that the thing?
The Playboy was the biggest casino at the time. Everyone knew the Playboy. Copious amounts of money. I mean, they'd be having them in their pockets. They'd be pulling them out and throwing them on, like just betting all the time like this, Parties. Everyone's having a party.
Yeah.
Your mum loved the party.
She loved the party, didn't she? It's quite weird being brought up in a pub.
But upstairs I had a monkey.
Flinging people out and I'm in the background watching it all. And
I want to take him on, the old guy.
how old are you, Dad?
I'm 71.
What was that feeling like going to West Ham matches?
We were a community. It was everybody was together.
How do you explain CrossFit to someone who hasn't got a clue?
At your age and you're competing with me.
I want to know the story about the QE2.
Oh, my word.
Dad, welcome to the show, mate.
Fantastic to be here, sunshine. This is surreal.
Quality.
It's usually, here son, I need a word. Have a
Yeah, now it's my turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Quality, mate. This is an absolute pleasure to have you on here, mate. Like what I always do, and as you know, because you're a big listener of the podcast, let's roll all the way back. Where did you grow up and how did you become such a legend?
I don't know about legend, but growing up wise, all around the east end of London, start off at East Ham, all around there. Then, because my old man was in the off-licence business, we'd shift every year. We'd shift to another place, Walthamstow, Kensal Rise, all round and round. And it was like schooling-wise, it was like not very good for me. It's like you imagine going to a different school every single year. It was like, so education side of it, I'm not that good at it. You know what I mean? It's like, so I had to find other things that I enjoyed and starting off with all sorts of things. And I got into training and football and as you do, but I had to get out of the East End of London.
Yeah.
And it happened because as I said, my old man, every year we moved and I was 14, 15 and we moved to this little village called Sybil Hedingham in Essex. Now, you can imagine I've lived my life on concrete, tarmac, this, that, the other. Now I've gone to this village where it's all green and there's all these people there like, aye. And this is a London lad talking like this and they're completely different. So I stood out like a sore thumb. And then going to school there was even more bizarre because it's like I refused to wear the uniform. Only because my parents, they weren't rich or anything. I just said, no, I'm not wearing so. I used to go in my straws and a jacket and all that sort of thing and just got on with it.
What were you actually like at school? In class and stuff? What was your world like? My
world in class was like, again, as I said, education wise, I couldn't concentrate. All I wanted to do is get out and play football, be outside, this sort of thing. So it used to be sitting at the back of the class, getting us further, because there was 45, 50 kids in our class, and there was just so many. Yeah. And obviously all the bods would sit at the front. We'd be out the back, we'd be smoking at the back. I'm not joking you. It'd be like having a quick smoke, blow it away. They're looking at the front. They couldn't give a monkeys. Yeah. And they didn't care about you. It was like you were just a bod. And I remember so many times at school, walking in, because we used to go in and you'd have your mark, here, and I'd carry on walking out the back door down to the Castle Hedingham, which was this castle place. And we'd go down, and of course we'd go down there and we could smoke and drink and just do our own thing. And then we'd pop back in just before school was finishing and get the mark before we go out. But no one bothered. Yeah. It was just that way.
Did you ever get into trouble at school?
Oh, gee, loads of times. I got accused of burning the school down.
Hold on. You got accused of burning the school down?
Yeah, we used to have, again, they used to have like socials at night time, for the kids. And of course, you're doing socials, you're meeting all the birds and everything else and all the, your friends and that. And you're playing games and all this sort of thing. And then one night I didn't go. And that night the school nearly got burnt down, like a big fire. And everybody who was in that was asked the same question. Where was Woodall? Why wasn't he? Who knows where he was? And I'm thinking, I wasn't nowhere near the school, you know what I mean? But it went on like that and it was really, really surreal. But I didn't, but and I was always, you get get the cane. And some of the teachers were evil.
Yeah.
They were evil. They're not alive now because I'm still alive. They're well brown bread now, thank God for some of them. Bless them. But they used to be evil. They used to love giving you the cane and bring you out the front of the class and slipper you on the back of the legs. Yeah.
So the cane, give me examples. They're literally a cane.
Yeah, cane.
And then whack you around the back of the legs with it.
No. They whack you over the desk and then in front of everyone in the class and then slipper you with a size 12 slipper on the back of your legs, things like that.
But me knowing you so well, you must have looked around and think, hold on a minute, you're gonna get that.
Well, this happened once in the science class. A friend of mine, his name is Peter Cook. It's not the Peter Cook everybody knows. His name is Peter Cook. I hope he's still alive.
Yeah.
And he, in the science class, we was always mucking about. Because it's one of those classes, as long as it's not maths, English or anything like that, I didn't mind going to those classes.
Yeah.
And he got dragged into the room and we could hear something going off. So all the lads, me and that couple of lads, all piled in there, beat the teacher up because he was laying into Peter, So he'd come out all claret everywhere, that sort of thing. So we got into right trouble for that, And then we had this Welsh teacher, and he had this massive, great big stick with two brass ends, and he used to come round in the class and back your knuckles on the back of your head.
Really?
Yeah, poking you with it, was he? So again, he used to leave. I don't know if most people would know about, you had the blackboard there and you had that little bit at the bottom, you keep the rubbers and all that sort of thing. Well, he used to leave it in that. So on the night school, we used to go there. We got there one night and we sawed it up into little 6-inch pieces and left it there. Oh my God, the next day we could hear him shouting down the corridors and he was shouting and we just knew, someone's dobbed us in or something. He come in, he just got hold of us and laid into us. Yeah. It was just like...
It's like free fall back then. So what we're talking then? We're talking like the 60s really, isn't it? Like 50s,
I was 15, so like...
60s.
60, yes.
Yeah.
Like so, yes, it was just brutal.
What was your movement then? What was it like living above and off licence where there's loads of booze being sold in East London in a real naughty time outside Upton Park?
Yes.
West Ham, we're all massive West Ham fans.
Yes.
What was that like? What was that vibe like in East London back then?
It was great.
Yeah.
The vibe, it was like you just stayed in your patch.
Yeah.
Once you stayed in your patch, everybody knew who you were. You roamed about, you did your thing. You didn't want to go off your patch. Don't go down that road. Don't go off your area and stay in your area. And everybody was looked after each other. I used to go around, people used to leave their doors open. You walk in, hello, Mrs. Smith. She said, come in, have eggs and chips. And you do things like that. Yeah. It was that sort of like culture at the time. Very open, very friendly, but we all had respect for each other. That word respect is stayed with me for years, and I think I've passed it on to you and the other two boys. Yeah. It's so powerful. Yeah. Today, I walk around, I'm gobsmacked about. There's no respect anywhere with anything, anybody, people, even dogs, cats, whatever. Yeah. Nothing, and it really upsets me. Really upsets me. We could all be hard in our own little levels and do this, that and the other, but you still got to have respect. Yeah. And the gangsters in those days and the hard nuts, we didn't go around, mass mobbing everywhere. Yeah. You just stayed in your patch. Yeah. This is our patch on your bike, just...
You've taught me loads of wonderful gifts in life, Dad. Being an amazing role model as a dad over the years. Oh. And as we know, we're best mates.
Yeah,
holiday, and we've done so much together. So much. And we'll go into that later on. But that word respect... That's such a powerful thing, and you instilled that in me from an early door. It was respect and manners.
Yes.
And first, I want to say thank you.
No, pleasure.
But going back there in East London, what was it like going to Upton Park back then? Was it a very, obviously, it was a very different community as it is now in East London,
of course.
What was that feeling like going to West Ham matches? And
you imagine all walking together, chanting down the arm, blowing bubbles and everything going on. We were a community. Yeah. Everybody was together. Just all went down there. You all went down there to watch the match. Hated the other side. People at Arsenal, Tottenham, all those sort of people. Yeah. We all hated them, but the respect was there until the end of the game. Of course, if we lost, then it just went looping. Times haven't changed at all in that respect.
I used to love it. Me and you going down Upton Park as a kid.
Yeah, it was just.
I've got the most fondest, beautiful memories, Dad. I remember you buying me a full-on West Ham tracksuit. I had the full kit. Every season I had the full kit. I had the tracksuit. And do you remember outside Upton Park they used to have that crappy shop? Do you remember that little crabby sort? It was like everyone squeezing past, or Ken's Calf. We would go there for a bacon sarnie before, and I used to love it. Well, we still do love it. It's not as good.
No,
London Stadium's not as good as.
It's just lost that little edge. Yeah, lost that edge, but I still love going there to watch the Hammers. But going down to Upton Park was just
special.
Do you remember that last day of when we played Man United?
Oh my God! Do you know what year that was? Guess what year that was?
No.
2016.
Was it? 2016.
I got us tickets. Remember the halfway line? So it was the last game ever at Upton Park.
Yeah, but do you remember when we was outside?
Yeah.
When the coach
the Man United turned up.
Smashed all the windows.
Yeah.
And we got dragged into
That's right.
Yeah.
There must have been 100,000 West Ham fans around Green Street, around the bowling pub.
Yes.
Wouldn't let the Man United coach come through. Everyone's throwing bottles. And it was chaos, wasn't it? There's no old bill about.
You couldn't see the players. Apparently
they were
all on the floor. Yeah.
But how crazy is that?
It is. They must have known it's going to go anyway.
Yeah. But what an atmosphere that was.
Yes.
I've never been in a stadium. There's 36,000 people there. David Gold got us 2 tickets for a friend. Oh God, that's going to annoy me.
So what? Carry on.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
It'll come to
It'll come to me later. Novello.
Novello.
And she used to own Crystal Palace with Ron Nodes.
Yes.
And then we had the best seats in the house.
Yes.
And the atmosphere. Do you remember looking around and everyone was singing?
Yes.
And there was grown men crying. We look at each other, have tears in the eyes. It was like such a wonderful.
Because everyone's in together.
Yeah.
And when we first, after that, we went to the London Stadium. It was like these pockets,
and everyone was fighting with each other.
It was just fight. Remember that? It's just my God, it's awful.
Do you remember going to London Stadium, and we were all like, "Oh, we've got the new London Stadium." Everyone was pissed off. Everyone was angry because there wasn't a poll gone out, and we all voted. No one voted to go to that stadium. Anyway, the deal was there, and they put the package together. We only pay 40 grand a week rent and whatever. Do you remember going there and all of a sudden, all West Ham fans were together for the last 40 odd years, 70 odd, whatever years people are going there, always stuck together.
Yes.
Go to that stadium. There was a toxic environment where West Ham fans were fighting with West Ham fans because everyone was angry about the move.
Yes.
And everyone was angry about the stewards being there. And there was Tottenham fans, stewards, and Arsenal stewards. And that first season was awful.
It lost its atmosphere, didn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
So what were your movements, Dad? Sort of like after school. What age did you leave school?
As early as possible, about 15 and a half, 16.
15, 16,
yeah,
okay.
About 16 I think I was just when I...
And what were your movements after that? Were you like... What was your life like with your mum and dad?
I had a dad.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah.
I saw him all the time. No relationship. It was just his background, the way he was brought up. And when I got older and I found out how what he went through, I understood why he was like what he was. He couldn't give love. He never hugged me. He never took me out. I never went anywhere with him. It was just, I can't remember anything. So I was a bit of not a mummy's boy, but you know, I'd always go to mum for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, mum, can I have this? If she turned around and said, can I ask your dad? I'd just,
fucking no chance.
Just no chance. Off skis.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's only when I found out when he retired and that sort of thing. And I remember the very first time he was in his garden. He loved his garden now because he's retired out of this business. And I remember walking, because when I used to meet him, he used to stick his hand out and say, "What, son?"
Yeah.
And I put his hand away and I hugged him. And oh my God, it was like he melted. He just didn't know what to do, but he melted. And then, cut a long story, every time I went there, he'd just come out and he used to throw his arms around me. It's like the release of all these years. But when I found out what he went through, wow.
He was a tough man, wasn't he?
He was a tough man. He was like, I remember.
Were you scared of your dad?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I was very scared of him. He hit me once and I flew from one side of the room to the other and I never crossed him ever again.
Has he ever caught you doing something?
This is going back to Central Park and East Ham.
Yeah.
And our off licence then was on the Central Park Road corner by the gates.
Yeah.
And me being jet lagged, I was 7 years old and we had a few of the lads and that. So I'm standing opposite, would you believe, where the off licence is, smoking, walking up the road. Hey,
having a fag
at 7.
Jesus.
And then all I can remember is this banging on the window. And I looked up and the old man says, I've dropped the fag and he's just gone, come here, boy. And it's like, oh my life is gone. Yeah. So he got me inside and told me, I didn't go out for a month. He kept me in.
What a prop he kept you in, did he?
A month. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, mate.
This was his way of like, again, his background and everything, but this is why he's putting across what I say goes and this sort of thing, and no, I respect him for it. After that, it was like this, and I don't condone smoking at all. I hate smoking.
Yeah.
I'm the world's worst. If you're near me with a fag, go away. That sort of thing.
What was your movements after school?
I joined the army. Only reason because I lived in Civil Elegant, a little village. The only place to work was Rippers Woodworks. And everybody left school went to Rippers Woodworks. And I said, sod this, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So I decided to join the army. And to be honest with you, I know they're talking about it now, this service and everything. It changed my life. Yeah. A bit of discipline. I felt proud of what I was doing. I was with the lads playing sport. And if you were good at sport, you didn't do all the crappy jobs or that, all this sort of caper going on. And I progressed through the ranks from Lance Corporal to the point of like holding parades on the ground and things. So it changed my life. And when I come home, I used to love coming. In those days, we'd come home in a uniform and thumb a lift home and you get a lift straight away, all that sort of code. You can't do it now, whatever's going on. But yeah, it's things like that. And I used to come home and again, I used to have hair down here, and then now I've got a barnet like this, all cut short. And when you come home, you stand like a sore thumb. Who isn't squaddy? Yeah, squaddy. You know what I mean? So you had to be tough then, because everybody's picking on you because you're squaddy. But I come home with money. All my mates ain't got a bean to a pot of pissing sort of thing. I had money because you save it, and I done a pub, drinks, and that sort of thing. So it went on, and then I did like 4 or 5 years in there, and this was the time of the Irish. Stuff going on, and my mates used to go over there before I did, and I'd see on the news that there'd be a picture of them, they're dead. This is a guy I've been talking to 4 or 5 months ago, and he's now dead. I'm thinking, wow, I didn't join the army for this. It's like I don't agree with what was going on anyway. It wasn't a war to me; it was just political, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm not into that sort of stuff. But that really said, nah. I'm out of here, so I bought myself out.
And do you have to buy yourself out?
I bought myself out, yeah.
You can't just go, right, see you later, I'm out?
No, they plough too much money into you, doing all the courses and everything, getting you going. So I had to buy myself out, and my God, was that awful. I was painting coal white. I was cutting grass with a pair of scissors.
Well, they were like, now you're leaving, you're going to stitch you up.
They stripped me with everything, you know what I mean? And now they took the piss, really. But you just stood it, got there, took up the chin and then left, you know.
What were your movements after the army?
Well, I come out of the army, and then I obviously looking for jobs. And my brother was a croupier. He was a manager in the casinos. And I started off actually working in the nightclubs on the doors and things like this, to earn some money. And then I progressed from there to become a croupier because Stuart was head, but he got me like foot over the door, but I had to do the work, so I had to do the training and everything else.
So Stu's your older brother?
Yeah, I've only got the
and with Stu, he was a manager of what? Can you remember what casino it was uptown in London, Mayfair?
It was the Golden Nugget. Then he went to Mecca. He started with Mecca, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember his name now.
Yeah,
and.
So you learned your trade as a croupier?
Yeah, started off croupier. My first job was in the casinos. It was on roulette, which most people start on roulette. I dabbled in the blackjack thing. I didn't like that too much. But then went over to craps, dice, and wow, that was it.
So just for the listener, Dad, give an example of what craps is.
Well, it's a game of dice. Like you've got a long table, you've got bets either end, and it's like cut it down short. First roll of the dice, 7, 11 you win, 2, 3 or 12 you lose.
Yeah.
If you throw a number, like 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. That is your number you have. Now that number is the next number you have to throw to win before a 7.
Okay.
And if you hold your dice, you know that 7 is whichever way you put it, it's popular way. So the odds are against you straight away. So that's the basis of it. And you had bets all over the place, and you could just go take your bets down if you wanted to, that sort of thing, But yeah, it was good fun, and I spent 10 years as a crap stealer, doing everything. And then, I loved it, the atmosphere.
What was the lifestyle? What was your lifestyle like as a croupier?
I better not go too much into that. It was fantastic.
Go on.
It was like, well, you imagine, I was 21, just 19.
I've seen photos. You're a good-looking lad back then, right? You're still a good-looking lad now.
Thank you very much. It's about 2021.
Yeah.
And yeah, up the West End, and that, of course, you're in the casino, and you've got all the gear on, all the dicky bow, and all the stuff, and all that looking good, and the birds in there, all working there. It was just like, I'm sorry to talk like this, but it was just like, oh my word, someone's just given me, I've won the lottery here.
Yeah.
But it was great because they were all friends as well, you know, and we used to finish work at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning after you'd cashed up. We'd go down Covent Garden, straight up to the White Horse pub upstairs. Used to let us in up there, and we'd be drinking till 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, we'd be staggering out. And I used to live in Hampstead then, and I used to have to stagger out, jump on the train to get home. And I used to wake up, God knows where, all over the place. I never got home because I was a kid. So what I used to do is put it's to write Hampstead, please wake me up, and I used to put it in me. Attached to me coat.
Quality.
And people did.
Yeah.
They used to give you a nudge, say, hey, mate, you're in. You know, you're like, and you get off. And you get off.
Quality.
But nowadays, if I did that, I'd be nicking your phone, everything, wouldn't they? You watch it. But yeah, people give you a nudge, say, but you didn't know. You got off and think, oh, God, you get home to bed. But that was the lifestyle. It was like a 5-day week, you get 2 days off. You know, it was. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And parties, everyone's having a party.
Yeah.
So we go to parties, and as I say, the hours were unsocial, but it was great. It was great.
And casinos were fairly new back then, were they, in the 70s and 80s?
Well,
was that the thing?
The Playboy was the biggest casino at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone knew the Playboy. And then Ladbrokes and Mecca started opening their casinos up, and it become, especially up the West End, and they were after all the Arabs, because at that time, this was when the Arabs were coming over with money.
Yeah.
They had copious amounts of money. I mean, in those days, you had like the pink packets which hold $1,000. You could see through it, all £20 notes sort of thing. And they'd be having them in their pockets. They'd be pulling them out and throwing them on, like just betting all the time like this,
Not having a clue.
Not having a clue.
Yeah.
And then I remember talking to a couple of them, and they said, oh, yeah, I've just sold my bit of sand in Saudi Arabia in those days, all my camels and that, and I've got all this money. And they just sleep in the Hilton Hotel. And we used to have a word with the maids and all that stuff. They used to sleep on the floor because they knew no different.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden they had all this money.
Wow.
Lovely people. They were great fun, but they just come over here, spend it in, you imagine the casinos, gone, all gone. But,
What was it? You were obviously in the casinos. Where was it where you met Mum?
In the casinos.
Yeah.
And she was a waitress, and wow, was she a funny woman. She was up north of Manchester. So we're on the dice table, and she's walking around as a waitress and that, and she used to have us laugh. These rich people would have a cigarette in their mouth, and like they never take it out, and the ashes go like, and she'd just get an ashtray, go and just tap the back of the head. But she used to get away with it. And then we'd all be looking, thinking, and she'd laugh off and say something and walk off, and then they'd go, but they didn't take it.
Yeah.
But you always knew when Anne-Marie was about. You could hear her, a mile of her laugh, and we got to know each other, and
she was stunning, Dad.
Oh my word, yeah,
she's stunning.
Well, that's why you're so good looking.
Well, thank you, mate.
No, she was stunning. She was like a centre of the casinos. Yeah. And of course, as she was a waitress, they used to get tips.
Yeah. So were they called like Playboy bunnies back then?
No, I didn't meet her play. She was a Playboy bunny.
Yeah, but not the Playboy bunny in the casino, in the Playboy casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, she moved across to Mecca.
Which is another casino.
Yeah. Okay. She moved to Ladbrokes.
Yeah.
And that's where I met her in there. And she became a waitress in there.
Yeah.
And that's...
and how did Mum earn her pound note? Because she earned a lot of money, didn't she?
Oh, tips. She was so good at chatting. She learned a bit of Arabic and chatted with her. She just was friendly with everybody, and they loved her. So, of course, when they tip her all the time, she'd just come home in the middle of come home and we'd just throw all this money in the middle of the floor. There's all these notes to her because she earned so much. She earned more than I did as getting a wage. It's like that's how we progressed on to whatever we did.
Can you remember the age where you met Mum?
I was probably 23.
23?
No, 22.
22.
22, yeah. Because I become a father at 23.
Yeah.
And I was still in nappies as such, and it's just like, but we got through it.
So you met Mum fairly quickly.
Yes.
You both hit it off, and then within a year you had a kid.
Yeah. Wow. And she already had a daughter,
my sister
Maxine.
Max. Yeah,
Max.
Shout out to Max.
Yeah, good shout out to Maxine. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
I think she was 6 or 8 at the time. Yeah. So it was difficult for Anne-Marie with things. But anyway, we hit it off, and we just that's it, and off we went. And
what was it like for you taking on, having me? And what was it like for you taking someone else's kid on?
I just took it, did it. I like people, and I like people. I like doing nice things for people, and it was nice for Maxine. I remember buying a first rabbit and building a rabbit hutch and a bike and things like that, and she appreciated all that sort of thing because she hadn't had a father figure. Yeah. And it was so nice to do all that and have her friends around and parties and that sort of thing. And then with you, she looked after you as well, you know, so it just all fitted in.
Yeah.
It just all fitted in. And it was just great times, yeah, great times.
And what was the movements with the casinos? Why did you end up leaving the casinos?
Oh, I left the casinos because they did bad things. I think it was Ladbrokes were going out, giving out number plates or getting number plates from all these big casinos of the big rollers, and then they found out who owned it. Then they'd invite them into the casino. Yeah. So we're going around the back of it. So then they found out about it, and they closed the casino down.
Is that right? They closed it down?
Yeah, they just stopped all the license and everything. And so I'm out of a job. Your mum's out of a job. It's like, it was just awful. It was just absolutely awful.
So do you remember the moment they said, sorry, you ain't got a job anymore?
Well, it was, yeah, they just said, in 6 weeks' time, whatever, we're closing up, the license has been revoked. So then we went to I went straight to another casino and said, look, we're going to be doing this. And they said, yeah, we'll take you on for half what you were earning for. Yeah. And I thought, I'm not having that. Yeah. I'm just all starting, because there was obviously loads of people going to apply for the jobs. So I said, nah, I'm not having that. And I didn't want to do it.
And what was your relationship like with Mum back then, when it was all new and fresh and all that? Because you were both both loved a party.
Of course. Mum loved a party.
She loved a party, didn't she?
And I just knew, as soon as she got on the scotch, oh my word, it was like, we're in for one way at a time. But she was the life of the party, honestly.
She wasn't she?
Yeah.
What was it about Mum that attracted you?
Oh, her beauty and how she was. She was so out there. She was friendly. She just attracted people like that. It was just, she had one of those magnets about her. But she was a wild girl. You couldn't pin her down. And it was just like, we'll get onto it in a minute, I suppose. But when we lost the job, we had to get something else. We went into, her sister had a pub with her husband. Yeah. And that's
Auntie Julie.
Auntie Julie.
What's his name? Eddie.
Eddie. Yeah. So then we're looking now. So, well, and we just had a chat. What's it like in the pub trade? Yeah. It's all this is good. It's like that, blah, blah, blah. So we go along with that. So we went along to the brewery and applied for a job, and they found it fascinating. We were croupiers. We had this, we had that. So they were, we take you on. Two young people wanting to be in the pubs, and most people in there were quite oldish, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So having new young managers to come on board, they were up for it. So yeah, we got the job. We spent a year in training, which was it was the hardest year of my life, because we had to palm you off to your grandma for a year, saving Maxine. It was just hard work, just grafting, knowing that you two were not around, but it worked out all right in the end. We got the pub, got our first pub in Roehampton. That was a laugh.
Roehampton Estate. That was a naughty pub, wasn't it?
That was just it makes you prick up your ears, think, well, I've got to handle myself here. Yeah. I've got to be this person. And you do. You just got to start off from scratch. You can't be afraid. You can't be this, that, and the other. You've got to stand up for your morals. I was never OTT, but I'd stand up for myself. You know what I mean?
Plus, you going in, you were renowned for going into pubs and turning them around.
Yes, yeah.
One, you could handle yourself. Two, you were very polite with people unless they push you over the boundary.
Yeah.
And then three, you deal with it however you want to deal with it. I just want to roll back a little bit further there. What was that feeling like when you had to ship me off to Nana and Grandad's house in North Wales as a new dad? Well, how old would I have been roughly?
You was 4 or 5.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. You're so young.
Yeah.
It's like now, look with your son.
Yeah.
Imagine you now.
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't. It's why. But we had to do it because we had to pay the mortgage. We had to look after you, that sort of thing. So it was awful. But I remember, even working in the pub, we worked on Christmas Day, and we closed at 2 o'clock, I think it was, 12 to 2, and we left Hammersmith and drove up to North Wales to see you on Christmas Day. That sort of thing.
With the pub, the pub wouldn't allow you to have kids? That was the thing, wasn't it?
Yes,
because you were sleeping in a 1-bed flat.
Oh yeah.
above that pub in Hammersmith. It was Hammersmith, wasn't it? The Builders.
The Builders.
Builders Arms, I think.
Sorry, the Builders, yeah.
That was another naughty pub.
That was a tough one. Yeah. But that's sort of like, again, on your training, that put me down to a level how to handle things. Yeah. And Eddie used to say, go on, sort that out.
Yeah. He was a tough man as well, wasn't he?
He was a tough man, yeah. So I didn't cross words with Eddie at all. But he taught me how to stand your ground and start in the right way. Yeah. In the right way. Yeah, it was good.
That feeling of going, the brewery saying to you going, you can come into the pub and learn the pub trade, but your little boy is not allowed in here.
No, and Maxie.
And Maxie. Yeah. So me and Max did you cause a fight with that? Did you cause a problem with that? Or was it like, oh my God?
We had obviously Anne-Marie and I had a long conversation, and we just said, look, the situation we're in with the casinos, we don't know anything. I didn't know anything else. She didn't know anything much else sort of thing. So look, we got to go for this and see what happens and just put it down to horrible experience, something that I would never repeat again. But once it was done and we finished that training and we got everybody back together, here we go, forget that. And off we go now. Yeah. So so it's, at the time, it's like
fair play to you, Dad.
Yes,
fair play, mate.
No, it was a
because I don't really remember.
No, you won't.
I was 4, maybe something like that.
Laugh, I
was having a laugh, and I knew you were always booting up. But I remember, I do remember that sort of moment. Where's my dad? Where's my mum? You know, and that was a. Yeah. I don't have like mad memories about it. No. You know,
well, it
is what it is.
Ma and Granddad,
they were
nice.
And
they were lovely.
So you were from Manchester. Yeah, Manchester. It's funny, and half of our family are East Londoners, and the other half are all Mancunians. That's a nice mix.
Can I just tell a little funny story?
Go on.
About when I first met your mum? She said, like, I'll take you up and meet the parents or whatever. I said, great. So we had a Porsche then, a white, Porsche Targa, that sort of thing. So we drove up there, and you imagine in those days, I'm not being disrespectful to around, but I think it's Salford or around that area at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
The women sort of had like scarves on and slippers, and there's lots of dogs running around everywhere, like all this sort of thing. I used to say, Anne-Marie, what's going on here? And she said, just like how things were and that sort of. So it was that sort of. It was like a different world to what I've been living in. But people were beautiful. Yeah. They were absolutely
friendly, aren't they?
Friendly and lovely. And of course, you got a Porsche. No, it's a Porsche. It was funny things like that, And then everybody stare at this motor, But no, they were stunning, and they looked after you, obviously, because you're on their slate.
Yeah. And what was the movements after then? The pub movement, was that right? I now got a career, because if you haven't got that pub career, what other options would there have been?
No, education to me is nil. Yeah. I've got nothing. I haven't got one. Is it CSE? The lowest you can get. I've got nothing.
Yeah. But you're streetwise and you're emotionally intelligent. You've got all these other wonderful gifts.
Do you know? I've never drawn the dole. Yeah. I've never been out of work. I've grafted. Yeah. And that's it. End of. I've never asked anybody handouts. Give me this. Give me that. No, I've gone out and done it. Anyway, that's bye. It was like what was it called?
No, I was just saying, like the movements there. You went straight into the pubs.
Yeah. See, our first pub was in Roehampton. Again, the brewery said, "Here, I'll go and sort that out."
Have that done.
Yeah, it was a bit of a day. It was on an estate, and it was like, it was a hard pub.
I remember that one,
but it sorted me out in that respect to say, right, I've got to be on the ball. And I used to graft all the time. I was always there, fair, throw people out. My policy was, if I threw someone out, they didn't get back in. Yeah. There had to be something that upset me or whatever upset me. They weren't coming back in. If it's just you're drunk one night, all right, mate, look, chill out. Sort of. Yeah. So, but then people after 2 weeks, they just pop back in and say, I've come back. I said, what are you doing here? Oh, I've done me 2 weeks. Who says 2 weeks? I said, on your bike. Yeah. You've done wrong in this place. You've done wrong to other people. I don't want you in here. Yeah. And of course, the word gets about, and then obviously there's a few lads used to pop down and try their hand and things like this,
But you had a really good reputation. You've got a beautiful reputation now. There isn't anyone I know, and there are so many people who love you out there, Dad, because you're a kind, good human, proper gentleman with great morals, respect, discipline, all the wonderful things that aren't really around these days.
Well, they can be, and they are.
No, they are not. But we had that conversation. We said it would be lovely if more people had discipline, a bit more respect for what's going on. But you instilled that into us and the family. I find it, when I look back and go living in the pubs, it's quite weird being brought up in a pub. Like, I loved it, Dad. But it's only now when you're an adult you look back and go, would you bring your son out to the pub? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I loved it, every minute of it.
I know you did,
Loved it. Like everyone was earning a £1 note.
Yes.
Everyone was earning money. We had, 1 minute you're upstairs chatting, next minute you're downstairs flinging people out, and I'm in the background watching it all. And it's over there, Dad, and you're having tear-ups with people. It's just
remember hanging over the balconies.
Yeah, over the balconies. The old Bill would turn up, police raids, and it was all madness. It was madness, and it was, and I loved it. And it's not just that side of things. There was a beautiful side of things of you had. You know, the pub we had down on the River Thames was lovely, and that was the boozer. We had a nightclub next door, a restaurant next door to that. We had the boozer there, and that was your pinnacle, wasn't it? That was the one to have.
I wanted that pub virtually when I started. You know, when you sort of look around and all the pubs, I thought, I want that one. It was a newish pub at the time, but I had to go through a couple of pubs because my next pub was the Vic in Surbiton.
The Vic,
and that I took that over from a tenant, and it was a shithole.
Yeah,
it was. I remember the first day, there had 2 entrances, one at the front, one at the side. I closed them both off, stood at the door and just went, no, mate. I didn't have any in the pub the first day. I think I had about 2 people.
Yeah.
But again, that went on for a week until they decide, I ain't going to get in, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then you could see people coming in and open the door and looking around the door and say, oh, it's changed, it's a bit better.
Yeah.
And that's how the people started coming in. And then we started, you know, Amory and that, we had the kitchen upstairs and we started the food.
Because there was no food in pubs back then, was there?
Like, you had an old mouldy sandwich and an arrowroot biscuit, one of those big, like dog biscuits they were.
But is that where you go, hold on a minute, we can make another business out of this, let's get some food.
Yes. And I said to the brewery, I'd like to start my own food. He said, well, go for it, you know, you do what you got to do sort of thing. It means bringing customers in and having, you know, booze and that sort of. Yeah, so we bought this hot plate and we got to Marie and that just make a shepherd's pie and a lasagna and
chili con carne,
and that's how it started off. And it was just dishing that out, and then it got bigger and bigger, and then they ended up the brewery building a restaurant in the pub for me.
Yeah, but you were taking the money from it.
I was taking the money. It was like I was paying them a bit of rent, a bit of, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just going, happy day. This is like, you know, but I deserve it because I worked hard for it.
Yeah.
And they knew that because I turned the pub around. The pub was taking good money. It was always packed, and it was like, you know. Well, you know, where the Bishop was right on the River Thames.
Yeah.
It was, you know, when
it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it was beautiful. When the sun come out, it's rammed outside.
But just to visualise it, that people out there, it's not just a pub. This was like a 2-floored, coolest pub around.
Yeah, it was 2 floors upstairs.
With a ritzy nightclub next door. I had one wall, didn't we? We had one wall with a nightclub next door.
Yeah. Come on, Eileen.
Bang, everyone stamped me in until 2-3 in the morning.
Exactly.
I want to know, like, we're going through this journey, which I'm loving. I want to know, why did you have so many animals in a 2-bed flat above a pub?
Do you know?
Can we just explain? Can you tell us what animals you had in the pub?
When at one time?
Yeah, like so. I'll talk about 2 Alsatians, Doberman.
I had 2 Alsatians and a Doberman and a Rottweiler, but they were downstairs. I had a massive great big shed in the yard.
Yeah,
because. You know, people would jump over the walls and nick all the kegs and stuff. So they were down there as my guard dogs. But upstairs I had a monkey, a cockatoo.
People aren't going to believe that, mate. We had a monkey as a pet.
A squirrel monkey.
Yeah.
Squirrel monkey. And we had the cockatoo.
Called Bubbles.
Bubbles. Yeah. He's
Squawk.
And then Maxine is funny because she used to go out at night time, come in late and try and creep in upstairs and burp his shout out to her. Hey, Bubbles!
I'm flowing bubbles. I'm forever blowing bubbles, and wake up the whole house, wasn't
it? And she used to hate that bird. I know she did.
Yeah,
she used to hate that bird, get caught out.
Yeah,
but yes,
and budgies. You had loads of budgies flying around.
Yeah, I love animals.
Hamsters, fish.
Yeah, I've had gold. Yeah, fish. But it's just like I just love. That's my passion. Even now, my passion is. I love animals. Like I you know what I'm working doing now. So I'm still grafting, but I do it because I want to do it, not for any other reason, but I'm around nature. That's always been I think growing up around the east of London, I didn't have anything like that. And when I found it, I just thought, this is superb.
Bit of you. What was the movements when you got to like at the Bish, where it was 3 major nightclubs in that town? You had Options, you had, what's the other one called? Volts. And then you had everyone in Southwest London would come from Croydon, would all come to the mix, and it turned it into a real vibrant town, didn't it? Like masses, like one club held 2,000, another one held 1,500, the other one held 1,000.
And they weren't all locals that come.
No, exactly.
At the weekend, it was like, that was just mind blowing. I remember, because we had 2 doors, one at the front, one at the side, to get into the pub, and 2 floors. So we used to get in there, and on Friday nights, we'd be rammed out. Like, you go upstairs, there'd be some trouble, so you throw someone out, and they'd sort of go out the front, throw them out the front door, and they'd walk around the side and go up the stairs again. And you go upstairs again. What are you doing here? It's like, you know what I mean? It was like that. So I just thought, I can't handle this by myself. It's like I'm trying to do 2 floors, 2 doors. So I thought, got to get someone to give me a hand. So I used to like going down the gym down there, doing bodybuilding, all that sort of thing with the lads. Who wants to give me a hand out here on weekends? Cash in hand. Down about. So I started off getting some big lumps on the door with me, and that's how we started off the doorman in Kingston.
You were the pioneer of bringing doormen into pubs.
Pub watch.
And it was, that's right, pub watch. And back then it wasn't like the SIA badges you get now. These were like, put on a bomber jacket, who's the artist, who are the 4 artist men in town, I want you on my door.
Yeah, that was it. And that, I tried to instill him, you know, like, give them a bit of a chance, you know, before you sort of take away. But get them out, I don't want them in the pub. And they knew who I wanted and who I didn't want in. And I used to stand out the door with them and that sort of thing. It was great because I did 6 foot square lump in front of me, like giving it all up. I was behind him. So it made it easier for me. But it just made, and then I started, the old, you know, we'd have trouble in the pub, you call the old Bill. They used to tell me, we'd sit there for 10 minutes before we come around because we'd know it'll all be over. Yeah. Why are you doing that? Well, because you don't like us, we don't like you. And I thought, this is strange.
What, the old Bill say that to you?
Yeah, the old Bill says, well, you don't like us, we don't like you. Okay. Why should we help you out all the time, sort of thing? You don't help us. So I thought, I can't handle this. So what I did, I got hold of all the other publicans in the area, and I said, look, I want to meet in my pub on Tuesday night, so. Everybody's invited. I must have invited 10, 15 publicans. One person turned up. Yeah. And I thought, why? And then we had a chat, and the inspector turned up from Kingston Police, and we had a chat, and we explained why. So then I actually went around to all the pubs and explained the situation, that we can work this out. So anyway, it all started off, they started to come to the meetings, we got it all sorted, and we started off the pub watch, the logo with the bug and all that sort of thing. And then we had doorman on the door. So now, if I slung someone out of my pub, I'd ring the next pub, watching where he's going, I'd ring him out, say, the guy in the pink top, in your eyes, blue strads, don't let him in. And he gets to the boat, not in here, mate, and he go, aye. And he'd go on the next one. He just that's how it worked. Yeah. And things started to work. And then when we called the old Bill for a problem, they were there, boom, in the place. So it made things a lot easier around around my area, anyway, around the Kingston area.
And the thing is, Kingston back in the 80s and 90s is very different how it is today.
Oh, yes.
Very, very different, wasn't it?
Yeah, very different.
You know?
Well, I remember at the end of our, just around the back.
The Jewellers.
The Jewellers.
You remember?
The Jewellers at the end of the road.
live.
Yeah, live.
With the shooters.
We was Paddy, remember Paddy opposite?
Yeah.
I used to be walking around the back with Paddy, and there's four guys in balaclava sitting in my driveway. Yeah, waiting. I went, and next thing they drove up straight in the Jewellers, boom, 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 and off they went. You know, so it was happening all the time. I saw another one there when they went in the sawn shotguns. Two of them jumped on a bike. One of them jumped on a bike, waiting for his mate. The 2 bikes shut off. This geezer run down to the boozer down there. People rugby tackling, held him down on the floor, got nicked. Yeah. All live. It's quite surreal. It's surreal.
Do you know what's surreal though, Graham? Which I absolutely loved in the boozer dad was, as you know, I always hung around with the doorman.
Yes.
As a young kid.
I didn't mind that.
No, you were fine with that, weren't you?
I instilled in them, you're my son, look after him. And they promised me with a hand on the heart, they would not let anything happen. But you were out, and so I wasn't worried. Yeah. I wasn't worried. Not that what you saw, I didn't like half of what you saw but again I thought, well, how can I stop him? It's going to happen all the time. So I loved him. I know you did.
I used to hang on the door with the doorman Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, every week. Watch them and wheeling and dealing, watching what's happening, tear ups. Here's some dusters. I did. Look, as a kid.
Yes.
You know, there's so much like when I look back now, I think, saw so much that kids shouldn't see.
Yes,
but I guess it makes us into who we are today.
Yeah, of course you do, because you become streetwise. It's not all about it. You know, education is very, very important. You went to, I was lucky enough to send you to
the sports,
private school.
Yeah,
private school, from private youngster
all the way up
to the university.
I want to say thank you for that, by the way. Do you know what I mean by that? Because none of our family are from education.
No.
You knew that if I was hanging around doorman and hanging around I'd get caught up in lots of things. Yeah. And then you worked your plums off to get cash to go to that sports school. I got a sports scholarship. Yes. But do you remember each term? So each term, right? You remember, and we know this. Each term you go, son, there's 600 quid in your top pocket. I'd go up to the headmaster. headmaster would take the cash, he'd go, thank you very much, straight in his pocket, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Wouldn't put it through the books.
Whatever, didn't go for the book, that's for sure. But I didn't care. I didn't care.
No, but I really appreciate that because you gave me the step up to be able to play sport in better facilities than it would be going to a normal school. But that, like, you know, when you said you went out from East London that was a massive shock for me as well. Yeah. Going into that school, you know? And it wasn't all, because it was private, it doesn't mean it was all posh and stuff. It was just good, it was good people there, and you had...
Well, that's your stepstone of where you are today.
Yeah.
Without that, I don't think you'd have been here, sort of thing. Contacts and what
contacts. Who do you hang around with? Remember David Essex, your best mate?
Yes, David. Yeah,
he was up there, wasn't he? At the school?
David Essex and Dave D. Dozy beat him at the pitch.
Yeah.
Remembers that? Yeah. When we used to play the game at the school, there was just us three on the line because all the other dads and that were, you know, executives and they were all in it. So we used to turn up watching you in the afternoon. And that's three on the line.
And then you on the line with the two Alsatians.
Yes.
Do you know what funny? Do you know what I find funny? I was chatting to some old schoolmates the other day. Me and you used to walk to school every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. It was rain, snow, whatever. Every day it'd be half an hour, 40 minutes. Yeah. And we'd have two Alsatians. I'd have my West Ham rucksack on the back, and me and you just singing songs the whole way. And like the bond, like I look back now as an adult, and the bond we had as a kid, and what has gone through all the way through our life to where we are now, that can't be beaten.
No, I don't know. Do you know what? I don't think we've had a bad word.
No.
A cross word.
No.
And I, my hand on my heart, I agree. Say, I haven't had a cross word with you.
I agree. Even when I got suspended twice and stuff like that, you still had my back.
Because it's one of those things that happen. I can't, what can I do? Shout and scream? No, you've done it, so let's learn from it and move on. Yeah. We won money that day.
Yeah, that's right. We went to the bookies, didn't we? I remember I got suspended for something. I think I got accused of saying, like you did.
It was something to do with smoking or something.
No, once
drugs or something like that.
No, was it? I can't remember what it was for.
No, or breaking the school.
Yeah, breaking the school. Tuck shop or something. Someone went through the roof. I got the blame for it. 2 weeks suspension. I remember our headmaster at the time, big rugby player, 6'6", Charlie Hannaford.
He was huge.
And you come up to the school, and I was going to spend for 2 weeks. And he was really apologetic. And me and you were like, happy day. You've got 2 weeks at home with you, Dad. I remember driving back and went, let's go in the bookies. Because you loved the gamble back then. Went in the bookies, and there's a horse there called the Bishop's something after the pub. And we went, go on, whack a tenner on it. Come 8 to 1 and come in, didn't it? It was a perfect day. We got 2 weeks together.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, yeah.
What was, so do you remember walking to school, and do you remember coming back from school? You were like the Pied Piper.
Oh, my word.
So you would walk to school, and just to put this in picture for people listening and watching, Dad was a bodybuilder back in the day and used to have these gold gym tracksuit bottoms, you know, the ones that flapped out the side, and you had the big top on, and we'd have the two Alsatians walk to school every morning, and you pick me up and walk back, and all the kids would want to walk back with us, and used to drop all the kids off at their houses. And we'll all be singing "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles" and teaching all these kids West Ham songs.
It was funny because they just started saying, "Oh, can I come back with you?" And I said, "Well, ask your parents. Of course you can." Yeah. And then I ended up with about 6 rucksacks, wasn't it?
That's right.
And you lot were, it was good fun.
Good memories, mate.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Good memories.
Remember the sports days and things like that, and playing the goalkeepers and give them £1 every time they scored.
That's right. You get that little kid score, and you'd give them £1 and loads of lollies. And
loved it,
mate. I could see why all the mums liked you. All the mums fancied you, didn't they? At school.
The funniest thing was that I found the funniest because they were like wealthy people, a lot of people that went to school, they're BMWs and all this sort of thing, you know. So because I've walked to school to 2 Alsatians with you and a tracksuit on, and they used to come up to me and say, "We're all intrigued. What do you do for a living?" And I just looked at her and I says, "I pour pints." And I walked off, and her face was just like, she didn't know what to say. But I did explain to her afterwards, I wasn't being rude. But it was just that sort of scenario they just didn't understand.
How did you feel when I was going into nightclubs at the age of 10, 11, 12 with doormen, and you knew they'd have a private table? Now they're all they've written books now, and there's people we grew up with Woody and Big Chris and Jem you know, and they all played their part over the years. But there must have been a pool of about 20 doormen. Any club we'd go to, as I was growing up, you'd all be on the guest list, jumping the queue. Oh, it's Woody's son, come on in. And that was a lovely feeling. But how did you feel when they were taking me to clubs and then dropping me back home at 3 o'clock in the morning?
I was, at first it was a bit, what's going on here sort of thing. But once we had a chat with them, and I knew them, they were lovely, lovely people. And I knew that you were priority, top of the list. So it didn't faze me. It didn't faze me. The only time it fazed me when you used to go on the back of that motorbike to West Ham with the doorman.
6'9",
Yeah.
West Ham fan, Hank. So he
Jump on the back of his motorbike. When you used to take off, he used to. I used to think, oh my word,
mate, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He's 6'9". We'd go from southwest London to East London he had a bike, 1,000. Well, I'm not into bikes, but 1100 cc,
whatever it was. It was.
And I used to hold on to his waist, and this thing rocketed. I'm guessing 120, 130.
Yes. Yeah. But when he used to take off, I stand there going, oh my. I used to keep looking at me watching me back soon.
He'll be back soon. I used to love that. We used to go up Upton Park, and all the kids would go at the front on the North Bank, and you'd be up the front there. And because he's 6'9", he's in the middle, everyone can spot who he is. We'd all get crushed, and so we'd just pick you up and throw you back here.
Yeah, he was a nice lad. He was.
Yeah.
Nice lad, yeah.
I remember, I've got really fond memories of me and you going to lots of West Ham games over the years.
It was lovely. And it's so nice. That's why I think, this with father and son business, the more you can do with your son or daughter, whatever it is, it's a building process and it brings you all together. And this is what I think what a lot of children miss these days is the parents being with them because they're either working, they can't afford to do this, they can't have time with the kids. Yeah. And they're just, when you see them when you go out for a meal now, they're all on the phones. No one's talking, no one's having a conversation. Yeah. And I just feel that it's wrong. Yeah. It's wrong. But that's my opinion. It's, people have say mind your own business or whatever. But I just feel that you need to go out and have a family affair. Yeah. Learn off each other.
Make each other laugh.
Yeah, make each other laugh. There's not enough laughing goes on now, is it? It's too serious. Yeah.
What was your movements what age did you retire?
I retired at 50. I decided.
That's a good number, mate.
It was.
I remember the day.
25 years in the pub trade, grafting from like 6 in the morning to like 2 in the morning. Most days, 5.5, 6 days a week. Even with days off, I never got out of the pub to 12 o'clock sometimes. Yeah. So that 25 years felt like 50 years. You know what I mean? But when I got to 50, I thought I've had enough. I'm going to retire. I'm going to do something I want to do now. Right. Not that I've got loads of dough and all this. I can sit back and I still graft, but I did what I wanted to do. Yeah. And we sold up everything. I met, I had 2 other boys in between there. I met Luke and Scott with a relationship didn't work out. Still, your brothers, we're all close. Lovely, and it's beautiful. And then
2 great lads.
Yeah, 2 fantastic. They've just made, all 3 of you. How many fathers can turn around and say, they're 3 boys? I'm so proud of my 3 boys. Not, they've just been so good. And Maxine, of course, they've all turned out lovely. And then, and I met someone else, my wife now, Joanne. She was in the pub with us. She didn't have nothing with the pub. That's why I didn't want nothing to do with the pub. And
she's a good soul.
How long have
you been with Jo for?
Oh, we got married in 2004, but I'd been with her for 8 years before that.
Okay.
So
27 years, roughly?
So 27 years, sort of thing. So, and she's been my rock ever since. Unfortunately, your mother passed away. But she, as I said, cutting back for a little bit to your mum, I love her dearly. But she had this spirit in her that she had to travel, she had to go where. So she had to do it, and she did what she got to do. Why
did you and Mum split up?
Because she couldn't stand the pub trade. Yeah. She hated it because she wanted to be out there and doing her thing, and she did. And so we agreed she could go, and I'll have you and Maxine, and we'd stay in the pub and graft away and give you the best.
I remember that day, and it's quite a weird memory to have, but when you're both there going, right, who do you want to live with? Like, when I look back and think,
no.
And
it's a terrible decision to make.
Mum and Dad, you're both amazing people. Mum proper entrepreneurial as well, and you were proper grafter and entrepreneur, and you were like this perfect couple, but it wasn't right for you. So there's no gripes about this. I was like, it's what it is, as long as you're happy, Dad, as long as you're happy, Mum. But I remember going, you can live with, you're like, I'm going to live with you, Dad. Yeah. Now, there's not many people out there who go and live with the dad.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Mum at all, but our bond was so strong.
We spent loads of time together.
Yeah, so strong, did everything together. Was there a point in that relationship that you pushed away from Mum and pulled me in more?
Yeah, because it wasn't working out. She was unhappy in this situation. Yeah. So it was just like, well, okay, I'm not going to hold you back. Go and do what you've got to do, but you're not doing it with the kids
Yeah.
because you want to do your travelling, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So that was the only foot I put down, and I knew then once she's gone, and okay, then I've got to get on with it and move on and do the best I can, and that was it. And here we are.
What's it like to go through a divorce?
Oh, awful, because in those days,
What we're talking here, 1990.
yeah. In those days, the man didn't have a pot to piss in. It was like whatever I said, did. You got to court, they just slaughtered you because I had a roof over my head because of the pub.
Yeah.
And according to her, she had to have the house. So the house was taken off of me to your mum. So I lost the house because I've got a roof. She hasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Things like this, it was like done in a way, it's just like, well, the man, I'm grafted all the time. I've got to do something here. But the woman could seem to get away with it. I don't know what it's like now.
I think it's the same. Well, I had a lawyer, I had a divorce lawyer in the other day. It's pretty much the same, mate.
I'm afraid that's anyway, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't like things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then say it's.
When you were breaking up, was it Aggie?
Yeah,
it was it?
A little bit because I want this, you want that, I want that. Of course you're going to go through that. It's never going to. Oh, thanks very much for the last 15 years. Yeah. I'm going to shoot off now. You do it. If it was all like that, happy days. But it did sort of turn into that.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, well, there's nothing worth hanging on to for. She wants to do what she wants to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And you just part ways because it's not working out.
Yeah.
You've got to find that person that everything works out with. And it takes years, not 5 minutes. And, we get married and then next week you hear about these divorces, people just walking away from things. You've got to find someone that brings your souls together and you enjoy doing stuff together and you like being around each other and things like that. And you move forward with each other. It's very, very important. Very important.
What was it when you done your stint, 25 years in boozers, casinos, What was that moment like when you're going, you know what, I'm off skis, I'm going to Marbella, I'm going to Estepona. What was that feeling like for you?
That was the best feeling ever. Because funny enough, just go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the 19 years I was in the Bishop, I barred a lot of people. And the
bar, just so people out there, is throwing people out there can't go back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, for that's it. They can't come back in. While I'm
just
there,
saying for the listener. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. While I'm there, they can't come back in. And then obviously 3 or 4 weeks before you're going, the word gets about, oh, he's going. Oh, my word. The day I left, it was full. They're all going, I just said to the new guy, shook his hand, says, good luck, mate. And off I went out that door. And the thing was, Joe and I, we sold everything. We left in our car. We drove to Spain because I had a place out in Spain at the time. And we went out there and we spent 6 years out there. It was just...
and for you, for someone that gets up, the work ethic you've got, I've never seen in anyone. And I've been around a lot of people. You've got this unbelievable work ethic of get up, graft, get up, graft, get up, graft. Yeah. Doesn't matter. No. I'm gonna carry on through, break through, grit, graft, all those wonderful gifts. When you went to Estepona, was it kind of like,
of course. The first few weeks, I just loved walking out the house, walking on the beach down to the marina. I sit and have a coffee, read the Times newspaper. Take me time enjoying it. But after a while, I thought, oh, damn it, I need to be doing something now. Yeah. So that's when we started did a course in ski instructors, become ski instructors. We could become personal trainers. So we was doing all these other things while we were living in Spain. So I was filling my time and doing stuff with all that. So I really enjoyed it. I just fill my time. I'm a very bad... If I haven't got something organised for a day, I'm chomping. I'm chomping. Yeah. I've got to have my days organised, and I'm a happy man. Yeah, happy man.
So it's weird because when you went to Estepona, Marbella, I went down. We left London. I went down to Bournemouth, and you went to Estepona.
Yes,
and we're both like, we're going to be far apart from each other. That was a weird feeling.
It was weird. Yeah. But I popped over, and you popped over. And get in touch, especially for the sevens.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Like that, So it was just weird. Yeah, it's a weird feeling, but.
But it's not that far. It's only an hour and a half flight. But it still is my best mate going that way, and I'm your best mate going that way.
Exactly.
But then luckily, after a few years, you're like, right, I'm moving to Bournemouth.
Yeah. Only because first when you said I'm living in Bournemouth, I said, that's God's waiting.
That's right. I remember you saying.
But it's not. As you said to me, Dad, it's all changed now, and it did. And that's why I moved here.
I remember telling you. I'm going down Bournemouth, Dad. Yeah. I said, what's it like? I said, I've never been before, but my missus wants to go down. I'm in. down with the beach apparently. I ain't got a clue where it is. I know it's near Brighton and or somewhere around it. I mean, so we just drove down, packed the vans and off we went. Yeah. But then when I got to know it down, I was like, wow, Dad, you got to get yourself over here.
And I did. When I come over to visit you, obviously, you saw it change and differently.
And then Nan moved down here, then Uncle Stu moved down here. And it's funny, you go back to that pub game, all our uncles and aunties had boozers around London.
My grandfather had one in Bow Bells.
Yeah. So when you look back at, say, the Woodall history,
it's all in boozers.
It's all in. So my great granddad had a boozer in East London.
Yes. Yeah.
My granddad had a off license, which was your dad.
Yeah.
You then got into casino world.
Yeah.
Then you got into the pub world and restaurant world in there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I guess I took the mantle into the nightclub world and now the festival world.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's all to do with booze.
Yeah. Earning money.
And earning money, earning a pound note, booze, and putting smiles on people's faces.
Exactly.
Bringing people together.
Smiles, and you're your own boss.
Yeah.
How nice is that to be your own boss? It's so nice.
Yeah.
Because I'll graft, and I graft anything, but as long as I'm earning my money and I know what I'm doing, I still graft now. I'm still doing
How do you look so good and in your physique for your age?
I've been training for 50 years, Dodge.
Yeah.
50 years. Yeah. It's like, and when you say training, I train because I want to. And obviously you stay fit and everything else, but I enjoy it. I've not gone, I've had enough now with this and that. I've trained this morning.
Yeah.
I just love.
You're a beast, mate.
Yeah, but I just love doing the training, and it makes me feel good. And I went train this morning. I played paddle tennis just before I come here. I just love it.
Do you mind people knowing your age?
No, I don't care.
How old are you, Dad?
I'm 71.
That's truly amazing.
But
do you know what was interesting? You went viral last week.
I know.
And you were like, Dodge, what's viral mean?
I know.
And you were like, fucking, what's viral? I said, trust me, Dad, you've just gone, millions of people have watched you on TikTok, millions of people watch you on Instagram, because someone come up to you and asked you a question on the street.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was at Bournemouth Sevens Festival.
I didn't know this guy from Adam.
Come and ask you a question.
People said, it was set up. It was not set up.
Yeah.
He's just come up to me.
What did he say? He
just said, what's your dream? And I just said, then I come out with what I come out with. And it was just like...
Powerful, mate.
Yeah, but it was...
But it was from the heart.
It was. And the comments I've had have just been overwhelming. I'm just taken back. I didn't expect that at all.
But it goes to show that all the comments I've read, which are ridiculous amounts of comments all over social media going, we all need to be like him. We all need to have manners like him. We all need to have respect like him.
It costs you nothing.
It costs you nothing. We all need to bring our kids. We all need to have what a husband he is. Because you just went, boom. It wasn't a long piece, but it's triggered a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. The only thing I would say, I do not take testosterone.
Yeah, no, people were saying, weren't they?
No, he's got to be taking testosterone. I have never taken anything in my, and I swear on Dodger's life, I have never taken anything. The only thing I take is creatine. That's the only thing I take. So leave it there. I just want to make
because there was people saying, he must be on test. He can't be 71.
No,
you're 71 because you eat unbelievably well. You train 6 days a week. You're a CrossFit champion.
Yeah.
Like all these, so I want to go on like from 50 and then you moved down to Bournemouth. Then when did you find the sport CrossFit?
I was just about 59, 60.
Yeah.
And it sort of come about, I was at West Hants and it started off in West Hants and I thought, I'll have some of that. And I just loved it. It was just this new sport as such coming out, which was completely different to going up the gym training.
Yeah.
And I just took to it like duck to water. And of course, as I started joining into the CrossFit, I started joining into the Opens. They have the Open each year.
Competitions.
Competitions. Yeah. 60 to 65, 65 plus. Yeah. So I was getting the 60 to 65 and I was winning. And I'm thinking, I'd love some of this. And and it became a stage. And then I got to 65 and I was still winning. And then now I'm 71. They don't do a 70 plus.
Do they not?
No,
annoying,
so
isn't it?
I tried it last year. I still come very, very high, but I'm competing against 65-year-olds.
But this is just to let people know, this is worldwide. You were number one in the UK and Europe, and then you went worldwide, and all of a sudden you'd gone from training all your life, bodybuilding, doing all the sports you've done, whether it's all the sports you've played, football for years, cricket, squash, and training, and then going to this new sport, CrossFit. How do you explain CrossFit to someone who hasn't got a clue? Because I know CrossFit, right?
Yes.
And I know it is probably the toughest physical sport out there. But for a normal bod who just knows to go into the gym, What's the difference between the gym and CrossFit?
Well, at the gym, you've got static machines. You're not moving about at all. It's just everything's bodybuilding, everything's doing, your tensions and all that sort of stuff. In CrossFit, you're doing all sorts of stuff. You're doing, for instance, I'll name a few things. Wall balls, where you throw the ball up 10 foot high with
heavy balls.
Heavy balls. You're doing gymnastics. You're doing cardio.
Yeah.
You're doing weights. So all
with
these,
the barbell, squatting, overhead pressing, the whole
overhead
lot.
pressing. You're doing cleans. You're doing front squats.
All to a clock.
All to a clock. So you're moving from one element to the other. So it's a combined effort. That's what makes it really exciting, because you're doing gymnastics, then you're lifting a bar, then you're doing other things. You're running, you're doing rowing machine.
Yeah.
So it's all, and you've got to do it in a certain time.
Do you know what's amazing? Like, you're getting all this sort of like, oh my God, he's a machine.
Yeah.
He can't be, because when you started, you were 60. People were like, he ain't 60, he's 45. He can't be.
Yeah.
You have to do your passport thing and show,
you had to,
and it's unbelievable what you do. But you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning doing CrossFit training, beasting yourself with 30-year-olds.
Yes.
And outdoing 30-year-olds. And you're doing that 6 days a week for 10 years.
Yeah. Yes, because again, I loved it. Because I met loads of people down there, all like-minded, and they respected me. They used to, they come up to me now, even now, the box. Yeah. You're an inspiration, Woody. At your age, and you're competing with me.
Yeah.
Not.
They're 35.
Yeah, they're 35. All right, they're lifting heavier weights than I can lift, obviously, because I'm not taking testosterone. So that you've got that ratio of like the weights and everything, but I can still. They say you just keep on going. You don't stop.
I think you're giving yourself a bit of disservice there. You're lifting really heavy weights.
Yeah, but not.
I know you're very humble here, Dad, but you are lifting serious weights, overhead pressing. You are squatting. You're doing all these movements that are really freaking hard. And then when you finish your session, you are flat out on your back, sweat everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, these are serious sessions. Anyone out there, just go and check out CrossFit on YouTube and you'll see what my old man does. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
And also, I'm getting across to High Rocks now. Again, check that out.
Yeah, that's another one, isn't it?
Another one.
Do you know what I loved about this journey? Someone clocked you, and there was a brand out there called Maxi Muscle.
Oh, yes, right, yeah.
And Maxi Muscle clocked you, got in contact with me. I got in contact with you, and you become a brand ambassador for Maxi Muscle at 60 odd years old, on a TV commercial, all giving all the stats, getting paid, all the protein powder you wanted. I know. How did that make you feel?
I was on top of the world, mate. Who thought? Again, it's all through you, your contacts and everything else. It might not have happened to me just a normal time, but when someone says, "Do you want to come for a photo shoot?" Oh, well, I'd never done like this before. And I loved it. And then you start seeing yourself and you think, I don't look that bad, do I? And, I'm doing quite well. And then you meet the other people who are younger in the Maxi Muscle, and they're all going, wow, how old are you? And, it was just amazing. And we did all the shows. And it was funny enough, when you have competitions in the shows, all the younger people, I want to take him on, the old guy.
Then they get beaten by you.
It was funny, yeah. It was funny.
What are your movements today, Dad? How do you feel like on reflection of your life so far up to now?
I'm loving every day. I think the day I retired was the day I started living properly, honestly. And anybody out there, just if you can, you don't have to have mega amounts of money, just be in a situation where you're happy, you're enjoying what you're doing, you've got someone around you, you've got family around you, that all support each other. You will live the best life. I love waking up in the mornings.
Yeah, same.
I'm happy to wake up sometimes. You go, I'm here. But no, it's like I love getting up, and I'm up, I'm training, I'm doing work. I play paddle tennis. I just play paddle tennis, and it's like I just love life. Eating very well.
Yeah. Dad, your diet is unbelievable. But do you know what? It's not just a diet; it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Your lifestyle. Because of Jo, who's your partner, who's unbelievable physique.
If you could see Jo,
she's amazing. Yeah, she's amazing. She's how many years younger is Jo than you?
She's 16 years younger.
16.
Yeah. Still time out there, lads. Time out there.
16 years younger, but she's played a huge part in your life 100%. By keeping you banging. She doesn't let up on you.
No.
Come on, we'll go. I know you don't train together, but on your days off, which is a Sunday. So just give an example. You're training 6 days a week. Come to Sunday, Dad says to me, "I'm having a rest day, son. I'm having a rest day." All right, mate, what you do a Sunday night, we hook up on the phone all the time. How you doing? What'd you do today? I only cycled. Went out for a nice cycle. I thought I was going to do 3 miles. I ended up doing like 35 miles. Like you're non-stop.
Yeah, but that's what
Does your body ever say, slow down?
Yes, of course. At 6 o'clock at night, I'm flat out on the settee. And you know that feeling when you lay down, you showered, and your body just goes. I love that.
Get the dark chocolate out.
Yes.
Get all the niceness out.
And I will do. I'll have my dark chocolate, and I'll have me whatever.
Yeah.
And if I go out, and I love coffee. I'm a coffee addict. But if I go to the coffee house, I'll have a piece of cake if I want to have a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Not every single day and every 10 minutes.
You treat yourself.
I treat myself.
But your diet is beautiful.
Yes,
Give me
I
an example of your diet. We're talking all the fruits, talking all the nuts, all the seeds, all the proteins.
Yeah.
Then treating yourself, and you love a glass of red wine, you love a glass of champagne, and
I love a champagne.
Mate, you love it. I'll tell you what.
I love
It's Father's Day yesterday, mate.
Yes.
I've got that bottle of champagne out. Your eyes just lit up, didn't it? You're like, wallop.
I can drink because I don't drink.
Yeah.
That's something I don't do now. But
I like the now bit there.
Yeah, oh no, I can't go back those days. I say what I said about going on boats, trains to Hampstead. I was all out of me. But anyway, I don't now for years, and I like dabbling in it now. So some champagne or a glass. Joe and I have a date night every Friday night.
Yeah.
Every Friday night, we have a date night. We go out to a different restaurant, and I will have a glass of red wine. Yeah. That's the end of the week for me. Sort of
big glass.
The big one. Yeah. And I was eat a meal, sip it, and I feel great. But sometimes I say, Joe, you got to drive because I can't.
It wakes you around the chops sometimes, doesn't it?
Sometimes
especially if you're not drinking every day, or like you have it once a week or whatever.
Yes, yeah. So I dabble in it now, but I used to enjoy it because I think you do it because everybody else is doing it, and it's a British culture. Let's get pissed.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it now, and I don't. It doesn't bother me now. It doesn't bother me.
What do you love about your life at the moment? What you're doing? I know you do your training. I know you're doing your paddle tennis. You got a lot of friends. You got meeting up with people. You walk down the beach. But you're back to nature now. What you've always wanted. You come back full circle. Like always wanting animals and nature, and now you've got it. You enjoy what you do.
That makes me smile every day. It's like when I'm out and I do a lot of gardening, and I've got all the toys and all the sit on mowers and that sort of thing because I do big gardens. But I sometimes at lunchtime I turn it off in the field. No one's around me. Turn it off, eat my lunch, and I just listen to all the animals, the birds, the sounds. Nothing else. You can't, and it just makes you so calm. And I love going for walks and things like that, and getting out into nature. Being out in nature brings you back to earth. Yeah. You forget about what's going on around you. You don't hear cars. You don't smell all this. It's just beautiful. Yeah. It does for me anyway. I'm not saying whatever, but it brings me down to a level that I enjoy it, and it gives me energy, oxygen in my body. Yeah, it's just so nice.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
I want to know the story.
Oh no, which one?
I know there's a lot of stories on here. There's some things we can't talk about, and what have you. But I want to know the story about the QE2.
Oh my word! Oh dear, I hope no one's on there that knows me. Gee. Anyway, right.
How old were you when you went on the QE2?
It's my 21st birthday. Okay, just before my 20th birthday.
And the QE2 for the listeners out there is a big
ship that used to go.
Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah. And it used to, what we did, we went from Southampton to New York on the ship, and then it docked in New York, and it went 2 weeks round the Caribbean. Yeah. So I was on there for 6 months.
Doing?
Bit of crew beer.
Yeah.
Crew beer. But so when you get on there, so you get we was classed as passengers, not crew, because we used to have to close the casino while it's in dock until it was 12 miles out to sea, and then you open the casino. So when it used to dock off on all these islands, we could get off. We used to go off and do all the things and everything else. And you get all these people coming up for 2 weeks, and there'd be all these lovely girls and families and that sort of thing. And, you'd all fall in love for 2 weeks and give them your phone number, because you didn't have mobile phones in those days, give them some random numbers. Love you. And then
love your way, giving the old wave.
I know it sounds awful.
No, I know, yeah.
But that's what, we just having fun. And then you'd have the captain's party, and the next lot got on, and you start, it was just having fun as you do. There's nothing nasty about it. But they would do the same thing as everything else. But it was just absolutely fabulous.
How did you know if you pulled a bird? How did you know if your mate would know, or if you were sharing a room?
So we share a room. Generally, we share a room in the cabins. And then if you did pull that night, you'd rush back to your cabin, and if you saw a pillow outside, you just thought, no. He's pulled. So you got this pillow. So you'd be wandering around the ship. Yeah. I've slept in the lift. I've slept at the dice table, all sorts of places, because you've got to find something to keep. Yeah. I remember being in the lift, because if you've ever been on a big boat, it's like a quarter of a mile all the way around. They're bigger now, obviously, but in those days. And you just be in the lift and there's been no one there because you go up and down all the time. But you're a kid, and you can see the door open and then close and you don't want to get in. Yeah, it's funny.
I want to know, and when you moved down to Bournemouth from Marbella at the time, I think it must have been a roughly 2008. 2004 was it? Okay.
2004.
Sorry, yeah, 2004. Yes. 2008, we launched Bournemouth Sevens Festival.
That's right.
And I just want to say thank you. Because without you, we wouldn't be where we are today with the festival.
What's that very nice?
And the reason why I say that is because anyone listening out there, when you've got a festival, you need someone to protect all the cash.
Oh, right.
And you've protected all the cash on the bars for the last 17 years.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you, because you can't have anyone else looking after those 50 tills of cash everywhere, of 30,000 people. There's hundreds of tills, yeah. But like you did that on your own with my wife Fleur the first few years, and like you can't put a price on that, Dad, because you were talking a lot of cash coming through, and we didn't have cash machines, but it was all by hand, wasn't it? How quick can we count the cash? Like
that was our games when it was in the pub, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we were a kid, you used to teach me. But this, again, when I look back there, these are skills that you taught me. Yeah. You taught me about the value of a pound note.
Yes, of course.
You taught me to set up little stalls, and you taught me how to.
You made a lot of money at the pub.
I made a lot of money as a kid at the pub.
Burgers out the front in the days of the
cash and carry.
Cash and carry.
I earned 600. I remember a 10-year-old 11 cash and carry at the front of the pub. Yeah. So we'd do burgers and ice creams. If it was raining, we'd sell a load of burgers and hot dogs. And if it's beautiful sunshine, I'd sell the ice creams. And whatever you didn't sell, you could take back to cash and carry and get your money back. Yeah.
And what about when you used to go to uni? When I used to say, yeah, son, do you want some spending money? I'm all right, Dad.
I'm all right.
And I used to say, what do you mean you're all right, Dad? Come on.
Mate, I think it started a lot earlier than that. I remember at the age of 13, I went and bought you a bike. Do you remember this?
Yes, I know.
A brand spanking.
Where'd that come from, Sunshine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that was like a thank you. It was just like, these sort of things you don't forget.
No.
You don't forget. But going back to what you said about the value for money, this is what I'm not happy about today. Kids don't know what money is.
Yeah.
They don't know how to handle money. They just got this plastic, and it's got you imagine
a phone just tapping.
Yes, you imagine 10 years, 15 years down the line, they'll have no value for anything. It used to be I'm in debt for 20 grand.
Well, everyone's in debt anyway. We'll be even more debt.
Yes, they'll be in more debt.
But you used to teach me, because you were in loads of cash with the pubs, and we'd be in the boozer. We'd have all the heads up, put all the notes up, all the heads up. Right, go, and we'll have a game. Who can count the quickest? 10, 20, 30, 35. We had to get to a grand. The quickest, I win. It was like, there's a tenner, son. You're quicker. We'll go again.
Who won?
Yeah, you did. I did overtake you as I got older, though, didn't I? Do you remember? I've got loads of things spinning now. Do you remember when I first started throwing parties in nightclubs? And I'll take the door money and you take the bar money. They would take the bar money, I'll take the door money. And we scaled that business to 12 nightclubs every week. What did you think at the time when I was bringing all this money back at that age?
I was actually quite like scared for you in some ways, because you're carrying around, walking out a nightclub. Everybody knows who you are, what you're doing, and you're walking out with this money. That used to really scare me. Really scare me.
You were like the modern day bank account, weren't you? Because remember, because in the boozer back in time, you had like a safe. You had a safe that was like 6 foot tall and like 4 foot wide with the big whatever the handle thing. Yeah. And each week would come back. Me and best mate Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Bless him. He's like having a brother, Chris.
Remember the red book?
Yeah, the red book. You put the money in there, stash the money in there. Go away. Go next week. Go and bring some more back. Yeah. And we built that business. That was like 10 years in the nightclubs.
It was good.
Yeah,
but it's good to be able to do that and look after you and be there for you as well. But it's so nice to see you doing something.
Yeah,
doing what you're
not doing a normal job.
Yeah. Well, what is a normal job? That's a normal job if you think about it. It's like you're doing what you want to do, which people out there have got to do. Like Simon Squibb says, you've got to live your dream. Get out there and live your dream. And you did. And you look what you're doing now. Look at you now. I cannot believe how you don't know how proud I am of you. Honestly, I can't say it enough. It's just, you've lived like this thing with the schooling and the private. You lived your life that I couldn't have.
Yeah.
I could send you to private school and give you an education, do something for you.
Education didn't work, mate.
No, I know it didn't work, but it put you in but it put you in a position where you've moved on from there, that sort of thing. So it was great to be able to do that.
Yeah. But giving me that leg up there to play sport and meet amazing people and earn money from all the kids at school. I saw it as like my office. I'd go to school, I'd come back with a load of money, and I'd go to the next one. And when you go to sports university, all of a sudden it went from 500 kids in the school to 12,000 people. It was like, your ears prick up.
I know, it's cool. Pound a man.
Yeah, like pound a man. That's what I got taught as a kid. But you gave me this wonderful, you and Mum gave me this wonderful gift as a kid, which is worth $1 million, and that's self-belief.
Yes.
You gave me this belief, Dad, and trust of you can do it. If you think you can do it, you go and do it, son.
And I'll back you. Like you said, I'll back you.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to do as a parent, to back your son or daughter that inspires and wants to do something. It's great. It's a great feeling. Great feeling. And you've done so. And so has Luke, and so has Scott and Maxine. They've all done really well. And the greatest thing about that, no one's brought me any trouble.
Yeah.
There's nothing come back to my house that I wouldn't want in my house. It's been absolutely amazing to say that about 4 different people,
I would have the fear if anything trouble come back to the house.
Well,
I'd be like, oh God, no, don't. I always remember as a kid, you'd always look at me if I'd done something. You go, do you want some of that, son? Like, because you got massive hands, right? Everyone knows you got massive, like shovels. You go, do you want some of that, son? Oh shit, no, I don't want any of that. So
I didn't beat him up, honestly.
No, you never touched me. But it was that warning, and I think that was powerful again.
Yeah, but that come from my father.
Yeah,
and we, as parents, you think you know best, and obviously, what gets passed down from your parents to you carry on in a certain way, and you pass it on to your children, and your children pass it on to them. And I've noticed the way you and Fleur bring out your son is completely different. Sometimes when you're doing it, I'm sitting there going, because I wouldn't do it that way. I'm not going to say nothing. It's got nothing to do with me. Yeah. But it goes to show you how people, you change in different ways to bring it. And he's a beautiful boy. Yeah. Absolutely. But not because he's just my great. He's just a beautiful boy.
Good little 10-year-old. He's clued up.
I wonder why.
He's bang on the ball streetwise. He gets it.
When he talks, it's like you talking.
Yeah.
The way he comes out with, like.
I know I have to look sometimes because I'm on the door. I'm chatting to getting people on the podcast, or I'm chatting business festivals, people. You forget that he hears all the stories. And later on that night, I go, "Oh, did you meet him? He got dumped. You're 10. You come on."
Yeah, but you was the same.
Yeah,
you was the exact same. Yeah. You was into everything. Everybody at a young age.
I was around adults the whole time.
That's what I say. You were around adults all the time, all the time. Unfortunately, because you had to be, because the position I was in the pub.
But I couldn't wait to get out of a 2-bed flat pub. And when I was in the nightclub, the first thing I want to do is I just want to buy a house. I want silence. Yes. I don't want no nightclubs. I don't want no toxicity. I don't want police raids. I don't want to see tear-ups. Listen, I went in the nightclub for 10 years, but to have my own home, Dad, that was the only thing that I wanted as an adult,
That's great.
Do you remember? Mate, there's loads of stories. I was in Marbella at the time on holiday, and I was like, Dad, I've bought this house in Brixton. So I was living in Clapham.
Yes.
And we're talking like 1999, 2000. And do you remember you went to the lawyers and put 30 grand cash onto the lawyer's desk? He went, what did he say to you? He was like,
I can't, get out. It's like, you can't do that. Of course I can. Yeah, son.
That's what we had. There was only cash back then. It was Reddy's.
Yeah. Come on, it's money. It's got the Queen's Head up without the Queen's Head on it. This is what annoys me today, is when you go to places and say, because I still like paying cash. And I go to pay, and they say, we don't take it. I said, come on, it's legal tender, please.
Do you also remember as a kid, you would talk to me in a way which I really valued, because people don't get talked to about it today, because this whole woke thing. If I'm playing sport or doing something, or if I trip over somewhere, or I did something, you get up, you big fairy. All right, I'll get up, I'm big fairy. Come on, you fanny, sort yourself out. And all these things that you were teaching, well, as a parent back then, because you weren't taught anything. Yeah. But I want to thank you for that, because it brings you as an adult, because being in the big wide world's not easy.
No.
And if you've been mollycoddled as a kid and you get in the big wide world, you're going to have a massive shock.
Yeah.
I didn't get a shock. And that's what I try to do with Alfie now. But there was no wokeness back then. There was no internet. There was nothing you could check up.
No.
You did your best you could possibly do, and you were an outstanding and still are an amazing dad.
Yeah, it was like you say, try not to mollycoddle you. Come on, get off the floor, stand up, do your own thing, sort yourself out.
What are you crying for, you big fairy?
Come on, let's move on. Don't do.
Yeah, couldn't say that these days,
can't you? Because you probably get the old bill around your house or something.
Yeah. Dad, we could talk for hours.
Oh, God, there's half the stuff I thought of.
Yeah, we talk for hours, but like being your son is like, I can't explain, because I didn't choose you, but I would choose you out of every single person I've ever met to be my dad.
Thank you.
I genuinely like fucking like having a dad who's your best mate, who's got your back, protects you, and giving me a step up and just all the beautiful things. And you're such a kind-hearted human being, and old school values that you've got have installed into me that I can pass on to Alfie and people around me. So,
but it's not rocket science, is it?
No,
it's not rocket science. It's just being there for people, being a nice person, thinking about your someone down the road, your next door neighbours or whatever.
Yeah,
looking after people.
You're very thoughtful, aren't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm a giver, not a taker.
Yeah.
I love giving. I like seeing people happy and enjoying things like that. But I find it really difficult to accept.
Every time I look after you, like, no, son, you're right. You look after me enough, son.
Yeah, I know you do.
I was like, yeah, mate.
He does.
Come on.
This is one
nice.
thing I will say.
Yeah.
I've not asked for it, but you've looked after me tremendously. It's a lovely feeling. Yeah. It's a real nice feeling. Not monetary wise or anything like that, but you know, when you go, you're like, yes, I'll get that, Dad, or you surprise me with something. It's like, oh wow, that's a lovely feeling.
Yeah.
Lovely feeling.
Yeah.
Lovely feeling.
Love our relationship.
No,
Dad.
I do.
Absolutely love it, mate.
It's like we've got a few more years left.
No, that's what, you know what, I really hope I think you're the sort of person to go 100. So in my mind, I'm thinking I've got another 30 years with my best mate.
It's good.
Please tell me you're going to go to town.
As long as you push me around.
Don't you worry, mate. Come on, mate. It's getting down the new Olympic Stadium, London Stadium. Do you remember when I was a boy? Dad, mate, I've absolutely loved this. No, there's loads of stories we haven't spoken about.
Yeah.
If people like it, maybe there's a part 2.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
People, I know, everyone who knows you, mate, absolutely loves you.
Fantastic.
No one's got a bad word to say about you.
Thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah, mate.
And I'm still going to enjoy the journey.
Quality. I love you to bits, mate.
Cheers, sunshine.
Nice one, Dad. Love you, mate.
Love you.
Quality. Hi, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Can you do us a favour and subscribe to the channel? It's totally free and it massively helps our show. Cheers, guys.